Okay, hi everyone. By the way, somebody is clicking there. All right, this is our third live stream design review of the day. We are looking right now at flight data. And where had we got to the last time we were reviewing this?
I think we looked at most things, but you had a couple of suggestions. They should be all implemented as much as they're implementable.
Okay, why did this pink out?
Not sure. That was working earlier.
Okay, so it's probably a data set that didn't get saved in the notebook by default. And I don't know whether a data set that is output from one of these things, this spacing is just really yucky there. Why is there that giant space there?
Yeah, it should be a little bit smaller. I mentioned this.
Okay, flight path. Okay, this in the data set, right? This should surely be iconized in some way. Otherwise, that's definitely going to make a mess of the data set.
But this should be done by dataset.
Presumably.
Because otherwise it will be very hard to prepare this.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. How do I copy that? Okay, so if I copy data to clipboard to plane, oh, very nice. Should that red line be thicker? I would think so.
Okay.
Okay, so now, all right. So let's say I want to find flights, the most recent, okay, let's say flight data. And now I want to find the most recent flights out of, let's see, what is it called? I misspelled it. Oh, it managed to get it anyway. Okay, there we go. So that's the airport. And if I just give that as an entity inside flight data, will it understand that?
Yes, it'll get the flights going in and out of that airport.
How many flights is it going to get?
All the ones for the current day that they have. It's also going to get the flight data for it, so all of the various properties.
Is that the best thing to do it by default for a whole day? I mean, for a big airport, this is a tiny little, tiny, mostly general aviation airport, right? If I did this for LAX, for example, it's going to crash, right?
I don't think we've seen any crash. It will take a while.
I have done it for LAX. It works fine.
Yeah.
I have done it with a semicolon.
Shouldn't we do it for an hour or something instead of for a day? I mean, this is a very dinky airport, and look at how long it's taking. Why is it taking so long? What the heck is it doing? What is it doing?
It's gathering the data for all of the flights.
No, that's not a good answer. It says computing flight data. What does that mean?
It's taking all that data and then computing the flight map.
But also, there's a minor point that somebody else who's there perhaps noted. The fact that this is giving like 6 decimal places of accuracy for this percentage is absurd.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody here to note that or not? Nope.
I can.
Please, could you report that?
Yep.
What is it doing? This is crazy. Why is it so slow? I predict there are less than 30 flights here. Why is it so slow? Come on, there's something else going on.
Maybe rendering them all. And
okay, there's something wrong. This is not useful. Okay, it's way too slow. Okay, what is it doing? What is going on?
Now it must render all the things that you got.
But what is it giving by default? Why is it not just giving I don't understand. Why isn't it giving by default just the flights? What is it going to give by default?
It's going to give an association of all the flights with all their properties.
Okay, that's the wrong thing to give.
Mhm.
Because as we can see, it's way, 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 way too slow. And
All
so
right.
the default here should just be to give the flights.
Mhm.
Okay, this is just wrong. Okay.
Okay.
So the flights of the same day, or just the next flight?
No. Look,
I think
if we
day
can
is
get
fine.
it for a whole day, we should do it for a whole day.
Okay.
If we cannot do it for a whole day, we should do it for an hour. Okay, but you decide which of those is going to be.
I think day is most useful.
Okay, fine. What is it doing? What is it doing? How did
Now it's
somebody
rendering.
design something
It's-
like this?
It's
It's crazy.
yeah, but it's with any big output. Nothing special here to flight data.
But I know, but signing up for something which is pretty much guaranteed to hang like this is just a real mistake. Okay, why did that take so long? It's got mostly iconized things. I'm not believing you. I'm not believing this. I'm not
I mean,
believing this.
Stephen, like since we introduced summary boxes for polygons, even the simplest graphics takes a minute to render the raw polygons.
Well, I'm sorry, what are you saying?
Yeah, look, there's a lot of complicated stuff that needs formatting. Now even polygons need a long time to render.
No, but I don't understand. Okay, so this needs to be looked at by other people then. If this is, because this is iconized, it didn't have to format anything in here.
No, it did format and came to the conclusion it's too big.
Size in memory, 50 megabytes. I was going to guess 50 flights, so I wasn't too far off. So if I say like %2 sub 30 or something. Okay, so we've got the previous flights. I don't understand. Is that every previous flight of that tail number?
In the last day or so.
Well, no. What is it? It says previous flights. What does it mean?
It seems like the last week.
Okay, we got to get our act together here. Okay, if it says previous flights, I mean, again, we could have taken it since the beginning of time, since the plane was manufactured. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what we mean, right? Is that correct? I mean, it's some arbitrary time, a week, a month, a year. Do we know?
We'll look into this.
Yeah, we're looking.
Okay, where is, oh, I see, that was the key. That was right, okay. Okay, flight path. So you have a specification of a path. How is that being done?
No, we don't have a specification of a path. We just have a geoposition.
So how do we know at what time it was at each geoposition?
Oh, we have time for each position.
Wait. In the geoposition is a time, correct?
Yes, for flight path, yes. So inside the geoposition, there's longitude, latitude, elevation, time.
Okay, but that's how you're recording the time. But didn't we have some other plan to have a geopath that has
Yes.
time as, okay, but that has not been implemented, is that correct?
No.
Correct. This function does not exist yet.
Okay, what is our rough plan for how that will work? I mean, it's like a time series, right? Because it's got interpolation data and things like that, correct?
Yes.
Yes, it's a little bit complicated, Jose, and we had some discussion because we need some convenient coordinate system. We also want to attach probably some properties like speed or other things to it. It must be in a convenient coordinate system.
Right. But so is Roger here? Who's going to join us, I think.
No, Charlie
Oh.
is.
Okay, but well, this is related to time series, right? Because in the end, this geopath, you should be able to ask the question, given the geopath, when was the plane at this coordinate? Do you see what I'm saying?
Maybe when was the plane nearest to this coordinate?
Yeah, right, fine. Or where was the plane at exactly noon?
Yeah.
Right, even if that wasn't a sample time.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing as with time series, being able to sample a value at a precise time. Right?
Yeah.
Because this function, this graphics to a video thing, has sort of the same set of issues, although they're a little bit more walled in, because what that is a video exploring a graphic, 2D or 3D, with a certain, it's similar to a point on the Earth at a certain height, in the sense that you are looking at a point on the graphic with a certain zoom level, so to speak. Does that make sense? Michael, you understand what we're saying?
Not really. I don't know what this is, this project you're talking about.
Okay, so what this is, which I'm trying to get some degree of this is graphics. Currently, it's called graphics to video. Shadi, did we have a different name that we were considering for this?
No, this is the original one we proposed. And nothing, no alternatives.
Okay, so this is the idea is you have a picture and this is wandering around the picture with various zoom levels, showing you kind of your tour of the picture. Michael, do you get this?
I see.
Okay, and I thought that is a similar type of problem, particularly when people are talking about Bezier curves and who knows what else, to the problem of geopaths. Does that make sense?
Just to me, similarly on geographics, but that's not related to this discussion. Geopositions like driving directions and so forth.
Right, and I mean, the fact is, exactly, but there's another point here, which is the example you've given right there would be a geographic, and the coordinates should be geocoordinates.
Yeah, that I think should be eventually supported. Geographics will be supported, but not a dynamic geographics. Yeah, maybe something like geographics of world with actual geographics or geopositions would make sense.
With these video generators, we're going to have to iterate that several times, because in principle, I think that sort of a 2D camera is a higher dimensional thing. It's not only sort of, this is like the minimal spec of what you want to achieve, but the camera has an orientation, it has a zoom level. And in 3D, the camera, again, it's not only position, it has also an orientation.
Yeah, it has focal length and all kinds of stuff.
Exactly, it has more things. And so, like in 3D, a lot of these moves are broken down and have names. Like in cinematography, there's a tumble and a roll and, a push in and a push out and things like that.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, one sort of synthesizes basically like a full robot path, if you like.
Right. But the reason, so this is a combination of time series. This is essentially, why isn't this geopositions within time series or positions within time series? Why isn't the outer wrapper a time series, basically?
Or flight path?
No, for both of these, both flight path and...
It seems a little wrong. I mean, I think that first, that means that the most important thing you think is time. And I don't think so. I think it's sort of what you look at,
I think kind of like, if then we should generalize geotrajectory to trajectory, because trajectories are such common things in the real world, in physics, everywhere.
Well, that wouldn't be a bad idea, perhaps. But then, I mean, trajectories are space-time things. So
Exactly.
they got
Maybe
space,
with
they
some
got time.
additional information attached.
They've also got velocities.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they've got perhaps for a flying turtle, they've got orientations of various kinds in space.
Yeah.
Well, okay. By the way, trajectory.
But I think that, I mean, bottom line is that one has to actually use these a little bit to get familiar with. If we can't play with them, I don't think one can make a lot of statements.
I agree. Another name for this might be trajectory video, which I kind of like, actually. Shadi?
No objections. I was thinking, is that more of a 3D name or no? Might work for 2D as well.
2D is fine.
And then when we have
Trajectory 3D video? Yeah.
No. We don't need trajectory 3D. It knows whether it's a.
The spec is totally different.
What's that?
The spec is totally different. I think you're generalizing too early. I think that's, premature, generalization don't work so good.
Well, I just don't think Graphics Tour is going to make it as a name. Okay. I don't think this function is going to make it beyond a very basic experimental level, if at all, into 13.0.
That's what I think too. Because they need to be finished and they need to be explored and tested, or they won't be any good. So,
yeah. So maybe a subterranean experimental thing, but not more than that, probably. Okay. So just coming back to flight data, and so what we're doing right now for flight path is just what is this? This is a composite geoposition with timestamps in the geoposition, correct?
That seems weird. Doesn't it seem weird to have timestamps in a geoposition?
Very natural. I mean, why do we have it if it's weird?
Yeah, we have geoposition has a time in it.
Right.
I mean, that's
not
the flight
long
path
elevation time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know we need it for astronomy, but yeah.
Look, eventually we need time series here, Roger. This is one of the applications of time series, but we don't have that right now, and we want to be able to, have flight information. Okay, what else did we need to look at with respect to flight data? This is, wait a minute, I see, that's the property and that's the time, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the same as weather data, correct?
Yes.
Is it the same argument order?
Yes.
I see, it's air temperature data, for example, would just have the time second argument, but otherwise it's weather data of blah, 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 comma, air temperature, comma, yesterday. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I think some of them are even smart enough to figure out what the argument type is.
Oh, where does so this is like live data? Like it's really yesterday?
Yes.
Where is that data? I mean, where
we've had it in Wolfram Alpha for a decade. It comes from the FAA originally.
I see. Okay. Huh.
All right. What else do we need to figure out about, other than this horror of returning just way too much stuff here? I mean, it's just a question of what the default for flight data of a given flight. So if you have flight data of a...
Sorry. The default for a given flight is clear. The default for an airport was not clear.
What is the default for a given flight?
The association of everything.
All right. Sander comments that he has a fun example for graphics tour video. Okay, I'd like to hear about it. Okay, what else do we have to figure out here? So this is So for example, let me see for this flight, I want to look at its, show me its height as a function of time.
The sub-values don't work all yet. You have to go to flight data right now.
Okay. By the way, this autocomplete is crazy wrong. Right. Just pointing that out. Right. Can you make it? Can you pass that on?
Yeah.
Okay. So now what is it? Elevation?
Altitude.
There's no autocomplete here. That's wrong. Right. Do you understand that?
Mhm.
Okay. Why is this taking so long? Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so I want to see the historical altitude values for this flight.
You can add a time of all. It'll grab everything.
Magnificent. What is the X scale? What is the Y scale? Is it units? Does it have units?
Should. It's feet.
How does it know that?
It's in the time series.
Mhm. It's pulling it from your default unit system.
Oh, cool. There we go. That's pretty cool. Hey, Roger, don't you think that's pretty cool?
That's very cool. Nice.
So what you have now, you have a flight from sea level to sea level. I mean, if you go from Denver to New York, we start higher, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we make sure of that.
So this is the AG. No, this is not AGL. Can you get AGL from this?
You have to do it yourself because we would have to look up the elevation as well.
Well, we
to look
have
up
the elevation data.
Yes, but it's a little bit time consuming to do it.
But if you ask for the AGL, shouldn't you be able to get the AGL without having to do it yourself?
For those of us who are not flight data geeks, what's
Above
AG?
ground level. AGL
Oh,
is
okay.
above ground
Okay.
level.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, then we should probably reconsider what our default value is for a flight, because it may be that somebody doesn't want to wait for that.
Absolutely, they shouldn't wait for that. I don't think you should return a ton of stuff for a single flight. I really don't.
Not even for a single flight.
Well, how long is it going to take? I would go, arrival, departure, I don't know. I mean,
So
if it's reasonably fast, it's okay, but I just, let me try. I mean, okay, let's try this random. We're waiting, we're waiting, we're waiting. This is really slow. Okay, I wonder what most of that time is being spent on. Can we find that out?
Do you really need all that? I mean, isn't there like a property that tells you everything?
Yeah. And I really
the
don't
flight
see-
path has everything.
Sorry, yes.
But look, for example, the future flights and previous flights and so on. I mean, I asked about a particular flight. I mean, it's amusing to see all this stuff. Why don't you find out what takes the time? You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, are future and previous taking a lot of time?
I think so.
And it's the flight map. I don't think you need that. I mean, if you have the path, you can work out that stuff. And I mean, it's nice that you can get flight map, but I don't think you have to pre-compute all that stuff. Am I making sense?
Mhm.
Okay, then we return a smaller set by default if you don't specify exactly all or something
I
like
think
this.
so. Yeah, I think that's right.
Mhm.
The other thing you were asking about last time was the flight number. The flight number is not always, not the flight number, the tail number. The tail number isn't always provided by the data.
I'm sorry, what?
The tail number of the plane, which is in that flight, which services flight. And we looked into this.
Where is the tail number? There isn't the tail number.
Yeah, that's not always provided. So that's not an issue.
I know
from
that. This one has a tail number because it's a general aviation flight.
Right.
Why does it have aircraft type missing? That's very odd. That's extremely odd.
Yeah, that property is a little spotty. And I think it's
I mean,
missing the
that
smaller
property
craft.
probably could be retrieved from an FAA API. Because that object, XOJ 539, I mean, I'm sure I could look up. Well, that's not. I wonder whether this knows what type of plane it is. Yeah, there. Well, that knows its type. That knows the plane type. But there's an FAA thing that gives that. I mean, that's where everybody's getting it from. Does that make sense? So do we have an FAA service connection? We don't probably right now.
Not that I know of.
But given what we're doing with flight data, we might consider trying to get that.
The other thing we tried last time was that we looked up all the flights which going from flying from one day from Los Angeles to New York or so. And you had seen some planes which stopped somewhere mid-air or seemed to be stopped mid-air. And it was not an issue of the day, but it was some flights are spotty. They're losing track of stuff.
Some flights are what?
Some flights have spotty data they cut out. In fact, the example, you just went past it, showed that we've gone and improved the results because we know the endpoints, obviously. And so at least you know the beginning and end and what we have of in between. Most of them are pretty full, but some of them, like this one, are missing the begin and end parts of their flight path.
That's frigging weird.
It is
It's
strange.
just totally weird. Maybe they is it conceivable that a big plane like that can be using VFR? I guess, I don't know. I didn't think they did that for big, commercial passenger planes and not, no, but that doesn't make any sense because it's from radar data, isn't it? I think that will be worth checking into why that's happening. Maybe there's some issue with our feed. Maybe there's something set wrong for that. This doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah, I'll look into some of those examples.
Look at some other services that try and give FAA data, see whether they see something better for this flight. Make sense? So, for example, let's see if I go. Well, let's try this then. So now this should be the flights yesterday, and then we're going to get. Okay, there are the flights, and now. For each of these, we say entity value. Can we say that? Entity value of flight path?
Yes, I think that should.
Okay, notice the bug here. Please report it. Okay, makes sense. Oh, come on.
I'll see if I can get that working.
No, but.
No, I didn't think it would work actually.
Okay, so I say flight data, flight path, is that correct? Okay, so now I say what am I going to say? I'd say geographics of lines. What's that?
Of geopaths map over the geopositions.
Why is this taking so long? Okay, there we go. Okay, that is a cool picture. That is a geodesic bundle. Okay, so now those dotted lines. So what did you do here?
Clearly, they can't all be geodesics. Then
What's
it would
that?
be. They can't all be geodesics.
I know that. That's the joke. Well, they are, Roger, with respect to some bizarre metric when there's the wind included.
Yeah, I mean, it's doing optimal control for this stuff. Yeah.
I don't even know what the description of the space is when there's wind included in the geodesic. What the heck would that be? What is the mathematical description of that?
But it's also actually efficiency, because the jet engines are differently efficient at different temperatures. And at one point, they took crew time into a point to account to. I don't think they do that anymore. But
What are the dotted lines here, guys?
These are the things where we try to fill in data.
No, just answer the question. Geopath, when it sees that it has a gap in the data, it then draws it as a dotted line. Is that right? Are these geopaths incomplete? How does it know that they're incomplete? Michael, do you know the answer?
I do not know right now why they are dotted.
No, not why they're incomplete, but why they're dotted. Right?
Yeah, I say I don't know why they are dotted.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have expected a full line.
Well, I mean, it's good that they're dotted. Let's be happy that they're dotted. But why are they dotted? I mean, so here, if I say normal of this, what the heck? How do I get the points out of that? Okay. So is the time? No, why did it get to be dotted? That's the question. Oh, no, I don't know. Okay. I mean, it's great, but let's figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay. Well, it's a pity that map is so fuzzy behind it that how do I get it to be? Well, I can get it to be a vector map somehow. And right, anything else particularly to see here? What about the heights? What would happen if I wanted to show these heights?
In which form do you want to show them?
Well, I want to show a bunch of lines, so I would have to get them out of the geoposition. How do I get the elevation out of the geopositions?
You would probably have to extract all 4,3, list 4,3.
Isn't there a way to get an elevation out by just saying elevation? Does that work with multi-points? Yes. So what I want to say.
But now you miss the corresponding time because they're not equidistant.
I see. So what I have to do is I have to say time comma elevation or something.
Yeah.
What is the appropriate time? Well, anyway, this is going to make a nice example when you can actually do it. I really need to go, but
Absolute time.
what is it called?
Absolute time. No.
Oh, for goodness sake. Well, whatever. Mess. Well, anyway, let's do this. We can say there. Wait a minute, what? Oh, I know what's wrong. So if I now say, just as an approximation, if I now just say list line plot.
Yeah. We have an example of this.
Yeah, the problem is the sampling.
Yeah.
Just for fun, I'm curious, histogram of flatten %24. That's pretty very amusing. Okay. Oh, look at that. That is so cool. Those should be flight levels going east and west. No, that was going one way, right?
That probably means that they have traffic lanes. So there are
No.
elevations that are not
The
used.
issue, Roger, is that the flight level, even numbered flight levels go east-west and odd numbered go west-east, or the other way around. I don't remember which. But so this picture basically shows that because we asked from LA to New York, they're missing all the flight levels that are intermediate levels.
Right, that's what I was saying, like traffic lanes.
Right.
There are certain elevations that are not used.
Right. I see is commenting that one can get, yes, we're well aware of the fact you can get these flight trackers for all these different kinds of things. The problem is the aggregation of that data. That is more challenging. This is a nice picture. You should show this picture
Yes.
in the examples. It's really a nice thing.
Mhm.
All right, I gotta go. Good stuff. Great. This looks like it's ready to roll, and very nice.
Maybe make the changes proposed.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Sounds good. All right. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, folks on the live stream too.